you might be wondering, why do we warm up before we stretch? And that's a great question. The reason we warm up before we stretch is because we want to get blood flowing to our muscles to provide oxygen and nutrients to them before we stretch and start exercising. It's similar to like a rubber band. If I were to grab a rubber band and immediately stretch it as far as it go, it probably would snap. But if I grab that rubber band and I slowly work it and warm it up, it's going to stretch a lot further without snapping. Similar to how your muscles are going to react. The quick warm-up that we do for Body by Band consists of jumping jacks, butt kickers, and high knees. We're going to talk about the proper form for each of those exercises so you can get the most out of your warm-up. Let's get started. So let's talk about proper form when we're doing jumping jacks. A common mistake I see is when people complete a jumping jack, they actually clap their hands together at the top and smack their thighs as they come down at the bottom. What you want to do is you actually want your hands to come out, palms facing forward, and elbows slightly bent. And you're gonna come up and almost touch your fingers together, but not quite. And again, palms are facing forward. As you come back down, you don't want to actually hit your thighs, and if you're holding those palms out, you would actually cut into your thighs and you would feel that, right? So you want to make sure that our hands almost touch here and almost touch down there. It's all about control when we're completing this exercise. So let's go ahead and look at what a jumping jack should look like if we're using correct form. So let me show you what a jumping jack looks like when we're using correct form. We're going to jump out, remember, holding our hands with palms facing forward, and we're going to make sure our fingers don't actually touch, come just before touching. And as we come down to our thighs, we're going to make sure we don't actually hit our thighs, coming just before hitting them. Let's go ahead and try that. As you can see, my hands come up and they don't actually touch together. My feet come out into a nice wide stance, and I'm staying on my platforms with a nice, even, easy bounce. What I want to make sure you're not doing is this. You can hear my hands clapping and smacking into my thighs. I also make sure that you're not stomping on the ground as you do your jumping jack like this. That's going to provide a lot of stress on your knees and on your ankles. Make sure you're always staying on your platforms as you're completing a jumping jack. All right, the next warm-up exercise are butt kickers. Let's talk about the proper form and technique as we're completing this exercise. I'm going to turn to the side so you can get a better profile view of what this should look like. The first thing we want to think about is we want to make sure our heels are ever so slightly hitting our glutes. So I'm going to hold my foot up so you can see. I'm just ever so slightly tapping that heel into my glute. I don't want to really hurt myself and kick it as hard as possible. And honestly, it's going to be a little difficult for you to do. The idea is to do this quickly and with a little bit of bounce. You want to make sure you're staying on your platforms. Your platforms are up here at the top part of your foot. So you're constantly staying on the balls of your feet as you're going through this exercise. I'm now going to show you what proper form looks like as you're completing the butt kicker exercise. So go ahead and watch me. I'm staying on my platforms, not actually bringing my feet all the way down, and I'm just kicking my heel into my glutes. I have my hands like as if I was running. I'm activating my core, and I'm keeping my chest up. Make sure you're doing all these things as you complete your butt kicker exercises. That's going to help you get a really great warm-up. Some things I want to make sure you don't do are this, where you're stomping back onto the ground. You want to stay light on your toes, on your platforms. And I also want to make sure that you're trying to really get that heel up into those glutes. If you can really only go to here, that's okay. Just try to get those heels as high as you can. The last exercise we complete in our warm-up is high knees. Let's talk about correct form as we're going through our high knees exercise. One of the most common mistakes I see when we're completing a high knees exercise are people trying to move their feet as fast as possible rather than raising their knees as high as possible. So what I see oftentimes is this rather than this, bringing those knees up. We want to make sure we're focusing on bringing the knees up rather than doing fast feet. Those are two different exercises. I'm going to start with a side profile view so you can see the proper form you need to have while you're doing high knees. The first thing you need to focus on is getting that knee up and having that thigh parallel to the ground. My leg is going to make about a 90-degree angle. The second thing you want to focus on is making sure that you're staying on your platforms. So that means staying on the balls of your feet. I want to see light jumping rather than smacking into the ground as we're going through our high knees exercise. Keep everything light and lifted. You also want to make sure your chest is staying up and your core is staying activated to help yourself stay nice and focused as you're bringing those knees up. So let's go ahead and see what a high knees exercise should look like with correct form. I'm going to stand to the side so you can see what high knees should look like while you're completing your warm-up. We're bringing our knees up. Instead of focusing on being fast, we're focusing on getting those knees up. As you can see, I have runner's arms. I'm activating that core and I'm keeping my chest elevated. Nice and light, focusing on getting those knees up. Make sure you're not doing this. My chest is down, my core is not activated, I'm stomping my feet in the ground, and I'm not really using runner's arms. This is more accurate. Make sure you're always watching your form to get the best warm-up you can. All right, so we've gotten in a great warm-up. Let's now move on to stretching. I'm gonna go through a full body stretch, but please note, depending on what workouts we're doing that day, I may focus on just certain areas of the body. I want to go through a full body stretch with you because let's say that you can't get through an entire exercise one day, you can at least do our quick 5-minute warm-up and a full body stretch to get yourself ready for the day. Let's go ahead and get these stretches started. The first stretch we're going to talk about is the Flamingo Stretch. This helps stretch out our quadriceps, which are our thighs. Let's talk about the correct form as you're going through a Flamingo Stretch. Whenever we stretch our thighs, no matter what, you're going to have what's called a hyperflexion of your knee. That means that you're really flexing that knee. So in order to be a little gentler on that knee and get it prepared for the stretch, you first want to kick out a little bit and then come up at an angle and bring that leg in. Make sure you don't forget to bring your knee into your other leg. Otherwise, you won't get the stretch that you need. Now, for most of you, this stretch is probably great enough and you'll get a nice deep stretch all down your quadricep or your thigh. Some of you, though, might need a deeper stretch, so let's talk about how we can do that. Alright, I'm going to face to the side here so you can see what exactly I do to get a deeper stretch into my quadricep. I'm going to first kick out to make sure that I'm being nice to my knees here. Bring that foot up and keep that knee in. Now I'm going to reach forward and lean, and I can feel an even deeper stretch all the way down my thigh. When I'm done, I come back in, kick out, and bring that foot in. Then I can switch to the other side. Again, most of you will feel great just doing this stretch. But if you need to, you can always reach out and get a nice deep stretch down your thigh. And that's how you properly do a Flamingo Stretch. The next stretches we're going to do are stretching out our hamstrings and our hips. Let's go ahead and get started with those stretches. The first stretch to get a nice deep stretch into our hamstrings and start opening up our hips is a side lunge. So we're going to take a nice wide stance and bend down. Most of you will already feel a great stretch here, and you'll feel it right down the inside of your leg. It's also helping opening up our hips. As you're stretching, try not to lean forward and make sure you're staying upright and really focusing on getting that stretch there. For some of you, you might need to get a little bit deeper into the stretch. So you can always come all the way down, making sure you keep this heel on the ground and this toe is flexed. You can even reach out and start stretching that back as well and hold this stretch. Then after you're done with that stretch, you're going to gently walk over to the other side. If I'm doing a side lunge, I would just lean over to the other side. And again, get a nice deep stretch right along that hamstring. Or if I want a deeper stretch, I can come down low and reach out. Keep that heel on the ground and keep those toes flexed. Then when you're done with either side, you're gonna come to the center and have a nice deep squat. Put both your hands on your knees. Push your left hand into your left knee and twist and look over your right shoulder. This opens up those hips. Keep your booty down. Make sure you drop into this squat. Then you're gonna go and twist the other way, pushing your right hand into your right knee. Nice deep stretch. And don't forget to breathe while you're doing all of this. As we finish that, we're gonna gently bring our feet to center. And that's how we do a side lunge and opening up our hips for some really great stretches in our hamstrings and our hips. All right, the next thing we're gonna look at is the calf stretch. All right, let's talk about that calf stretch. I'm gonna give you a different point of view so you can really see how to get a nice deep stretch when we're stretching our calves. You're gonna find a wall or a flat surface that you can at least put your foot against. Wedge your foot up against the wall with your heel still touching the ground and your toes up against the wall. As you come in, you wanna make sure your hips are staying forward and that you're not bending at the waist. If you do that, then you won't feel that stretch anymore through those calves. Keep those hips in and give yourself a nice deep stretch. As you pull your chest closer to the wall, you'll feel an even deeper stretch. If you want, you can even place your hands on the wall so that you can get as flat as possible. Don't forget to breathe while you're stretching. Let's go ahead and switch feet. Again, wedging that foot up against the wall, heel is on the ground, and toes are up against the wall. Come in and stretch and keep those hips in so you can feel a deep stretch along our calves. Don't forget to breathe while you're doing this and check that you're not holding any tension in your knees. That should be a nice deep stretch. And that's how you do a proper calf stretch. All right, last but certainly not least, let's go ahead and go through our movement and stretching for our ankles. All right, the first thing we're gonna do are some points and flexes for our ankles, and then we're gonna rotate them either way, and we're gonna switch to the other foot. So the first thing you wanna do is go ahead and bring your foot up. It doesn't need to be super high off the ground. So as you can see, I'm just bringing my foot up to here, just a couple inches off the ground. Make sure you're keeping your core tight and that you're putting your weight on your opposite leg, so that way you can keep stability. Put your hands on your hips and stand up nice and tall with your chest elevated. You're gonna bring your foot up and you're going to point your toe as far as you can without hurting yourself. And then you're going to flex your foot, so bring your toes back towards you. We're gonna do those a couple times to help warm up that movement in our ankles. That's the first place of balance when we're standing, so it's really important we keep those ankles in good shape. After you've done some points and flexes, let's go ahead and rotate our ankle in one direction. Nice big circles. Now let's go the other way, drawing huge circles with your ankles. As you can see, the rest of my body is staying nice and stable. Let's go ahead and switch to the other foot. So again, keep that core strong and make sure you're putting your weight on your opposite leg. Bring that foot up and let's go ahead and point and flex. Make sure you're pointing and flexing as far as you can to get a lot of great movement in there. You don't want to hurt yourself, but you do want to try to make some progress with the mobility. And pointing and flexing. Now let's go ahead and rotate our ankles, nice big circles. Really try to get some blood flowing in there. Now let's go the other way. And again, I'm staying stable. Hands are staying on the hips and my core is strong. And let's go ahead and relax. And that's how we're gonna warm up our ankles a little bit. Now we're gonna move to our upper body. Let's first start with a nice shoulder stretch. To stretch out your shoulders, you're gonna put your arm across your chest and you're gonna use your other hand to push that arm into your chest. You wanna make sure that your shoulder isn't going up into your ear like this and you're keeping it down and relaxed to really stretch out that shoulder and get it ready for lots of exercise and movement. Don't forget to breathe while you're stretching. Go ahead and let the arm come down, shake it out a little bit, and bring the other arm across, stretching out across the chest. Again, keep that shoulder out of your ear. Make sure it's relaxed and pushed down and that you're pushing gently with your other hand into your chest. Let's go ahead and release that. Now we're going to rotate our shoulders back and get lots of movement. Similar to what we were doing with our ankles. Really roll those shoulders like you're making big circles on the sides of your body. Now let's go ahead and roll them forward. Really bringing those arms forward and rotating those shoulders all the way around, nice big circles. And let's release and shake it out. That's how we stretch out and warm up our shoulders. All right, let's move on to stretching out our triceps. Our triceps are the muscles on the back of our arm right here. What you're gonna do is you're gonna go ahead and bend your arm like I just did, and you're gonna use your other hand to push that elbow back behind your head. Make sure you stand upright and that you don't do this. Staying up nice and tall and reaching that hand onto your shoulder blade. Push gently to the back so you can feel a nice deep stretch all the way down the back of the arm. Don't forget to breathe while you're stretching. Then after that, we're going to hold on to the side of the arm now and gently lean over to the side to stretch out our sides. Make sure you're not letting your hips go forward or back. A nice straight up and down hip and really push that foot into the ground that's on the same side that you're stretching. We're gonna go ahead and release that and let's switch sides. Pull that elbow back, make sure your hand is against your shoulder blade. And we're gonna do a nice deep stretch. Again, don't forget to breathe while you're stretching. Now let's go ahead and lean over to the side, stretching along our sides and pushing the same foot, that's the same side you're stretching, into the ground. And let's go ahead and release and shake it out. And that's how we're gonna stretch out our triceps and our sides. The next stretch we're going to do is to open up our chest and then also helping stretch a little bit down our biceps. It will then go into a nice stretch along our backs and our shoulder blades. So you're going to interlock your hands behind your body like this. Then you're going to relax those shoulders and pull back so that you're really stretching out and opening up that chest. Keep your core activated and don't let yourself bend like this. Keep those hips forward to a nice deep stretch in our chest. Really relax those shoulders and bring them back. I'm in a nice wide stance, a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. You're gonna take a nice deep inhale, and you're gonna exhale and you're gonna fold over, but keep those hands together. Relax your knees and lower back. Then you're gonna let your hands drop, interlock them underneath, so that way they look like this while you're bent over. Flip those hands around so that your fingers are facing out this way. And you're gonna bend the knees and slowly roll up, stretching up and opening out. And that's how we stretch out our chest and our back. Next, we're gonna go into a forearm and wrist stretch and movement. First thing you're gonna do is put your arm straight out in front of you and gently bring your fingers and your thumb towards you. As you can see from the side, I'm gently pulling my fingers and thumb towards me, and I'm keeping my core activated, making sure my hips aren't rolling back or forward. Nice, straight up and down stance. You should feel a deep stretch along your forearm. This should not hurt your wrist. If it starts to hurt, then release a little bit so that way you're not hurting your wrist. Now we're gonna go ahead and push those fingers and thumb down so we can feel a nice deep stretch along the top of our arm. Let's go ahead and switch sides. So again, put that hand out, bring your thumb and fingers towards you into a nice deep stretch to stretch out that forearm. Watch that core and make sure you keep it activated. Now let's gently push those fingers and that thumb down. Again, don't forget to breathe while you're stretching. Now let's go ahead and rotate our wrists out and in to get full mobility. Now let's do it again, out and in. Now wiggle those fingers to get blood to them. Please don't ever do this. That's really bad for your nerve and is actually really shocking for all of your tendons and muscles inside of your hand. But you have a lot of little tiny ones. Just wiggle your fingers and you'll get enough blood flowing to them. Now let's go ahead and stretch our necks and work on some mobility. We're going to first put our hand on the opposite side of our head. You're going to gently pull your head to the side into your shoulder and feel a nice deep stretch along your neck. Keep this shoulder down. Make sure it doesn't creep up into your ears. You should feel a nice deep stretch. Again, keep that core activated. Make sure you're watching what your hips are doing as you go through these stretches. Now let's go ahead and switch to the other side. Gently pull your head over, keep that shoulder down, and feel a nice deep stretch along your neck. And let's go ahead and release. Let's now go ahead and look one way and then the other. Getting our neck ready for any mobility that we need, any exercises we're doing, or visuals we might be doing. Now let's look up and down. Nice, gentle movements, keeping the shoulders down and relaxed. Make sure as you go into your chest that your shoulders don't creep up into your ears. Keep them down. Really trying to stretch and get our chin as far up and down as possible. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to gently roll our head side to side, but not all the way around. Gently rock your head side to side. Keep those shoulders down and relaxed. Again, keep that core activated and don't forget to breathe while you're stretching. And let's go ahead and look up. And that's how we stretch and warm up our necks. All right, everybody. Great job working on form as we go through our warm-ups and stretches. It is so important to keep good form as we're warming up, stretching, and going through exercises to not only make sure we're working out the correct muscle groups, but to also help prevent injury. On days that you're not able to complete a full workout, these warm-ups and stretches are a great way to start your day.